Hello guys, welcome back to the video, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can respawn your character after you die. In this example you can see as we will step on this white platform, our character starts to lose health. And after the health becomes 0, our character dies with a ragdoll effect with game over UI on the screen. And 3 seconds later, our character respawns back. And in this video I'm going to show you 3 methods to respawn your character. First method is to respawn your character automatically after he dies. The second method is to respawn your character after pressing a key on the keyboard. And the third method is to respawn your character after clicking a button on the screen. So you can implement any of these methods in your game, and you can also reduce the health of your character with anything you want. I am using a platform for this tutorial, so now let's jump into the video. So to do this, first let's create a blueprint class of actor type, and I'm going to name this damage actor BP. And let's open this up, and you can add component. I'm going to add a plane. Here it is. And now let's add a box collision. And now you can change the size of this collision box. Okay, after that let's compile, and we are going to use this actor to give damage to our player. So let's place this into the level, and let's change the size a bit. Okay, I think that's fine. And now let's go to our character blueprint. There you go. Right click on this and browse to the asset. Now let's open this, and make sure you already have a health variable inside your character blueprint. If you don't have, you can make one, and make sure it's a float type. Okay, now let's compile, and let's go back to our damage character. Go on event graph and delete all the unnecessary events from here. Now let's search for the event begin play. And now we want to communicate with our character. So for that, let's cast to our third person character. Let's connect the execution pins, and you make sure you have to cast in your character blueprint. And now let's get the reference by get player controller, and let's connect the parameters. So now let's promote this to variable so that we can use this later on. I'm going to name this third person ref. Okay, after that let's go to our viewport and select the box and right click, add event, and go to on component begin overlap. So here you can see this event. So what you want to do, let's first grab the third person reference. So here we want to check if our overlapped actor is our third person character. So for that let's search for equal and connect the parameters. Okay, after that let's get a branch, and let's connect the execution pin and the condition. And if this condition is true, we want to reduce some health of our character. So for that let's set health. From here let's connect the execution pin from true, and we can get our health. Okay, after getting health we can decrement some value. So let's search for minus. We want to minus 10 value of our health, and let's set this. Okay, so after that we want to check if our health is equals to 0 or not. Okay, so let's get a branch here, and let's connect the condition and the execution pin. And if our health is not equals to 0, then we can add a delay. We can add a delay of 0.3 seconds, and then we can reduce the health again. So we will reduce it until our health becomes 0. Now compile, and make sure in your character blueprint your health variable have its default value to 100. Okay, now let's go back to our damage actor, and to see what's the current health value is, let's print the value of the health using print string. And now let's connect the parameters and make some space and organize the nodes a bit. Okay, after that let's compile and let's test this. Okay, so as we will step on the plane, the health value will start to decrease. But here's one problem. Okay, so as you can see, even if I came out of the plane, the health value is still decreasing. So to fix this, let's go back to our damage actor, and now let's right click on the box component and add a on component and overlap. So here we have to do the same thing if our actor is equals to the third person actor. Okay, first grab the third person reference. So if our actor is equals to the third person character, we can perform the further functionality. And to check if our player is currently overlapping the box collision, we can add a boolean. So let's name this character overlapped. Okay, so now let's grab this and set character overlapping to false. and connect the true return value. Okay, so let's make some space up there. And after checking if our third person character is overlapping the box collision, we can set character overlapping to true. So let's connect the execution pin and check this to true, and then we can get this and check if it is equals to true or false. So if this is equals to true, we can decrease our health. And after that, we can delete this execution pin and connect the delay node to the branch to check the condition after every 0.3 seconds. Okay, so after that, what we want to do, we want to check if our health is 0 or not. If it is, then we want to die. So for that, let's grab our third person reference and we can search for set simulate physics. So this node will apply the ragdoll effect on our character and all the world physics will take over our character. So make sure you check this simulate option, and after that what we can do, we can compile and let's test this. So let's go to the platform, and if I'll come out of the plane, the health value stops to decrease, and if I'll go in, our character dies. As you can see, it's working perfectly. It's totally your choice if you want to use ragdoll physics or not. So now let's add a health bar. So for that, I've already created a UI, and if you want to skip the health bar for any reason, you can go to this timeline. And here you can see we are using a progression bar as a health bar, and on the right side you can see the percentage. It defines how much filled our progression bar is, and it ranges from 0 to 1. So let's keep its default value to 1, and here's the text. We do not have to create a binding to change the value because it is performance costly. So let's compile and let's go back to our damage actor blueprint, and on the event begin play we want to create health bar widget. So let's create widget. Now connect the execution pin, and we want to create this health bar UMG. So let's select it from here, and now let's promote this to variable. I'm going to name this health bar wedge. Okay, so after that we can add it to the viewport. So here what we want to do, we want to change the value of the health bar according to the value of the character health. Over here you can see this. So let's go back to damage actor blueprint and let's create a custom event. I'm going to name this update health bar. So now let's get the third person reference, and through that let's search for the health variable. Okay, after that we also want the health widget, so let's get this, and from that we can search for the health bar. And from the health bar we want to change its percentage, so search for set percentage. And what you want to do, if I'll go here, you can see in the health bar we have this percentage. We want to change this, so to change this we have this node. So let's connect the execution pins, and now from the health we want to divide it by 100, and let's connect the parameter to the percentage. Now if you are thinking why we did that, why we divided by 100, if I'll go here you can see its max value is 1 and it ranges from 0 to 1 as you can see here, and the health max value is 100. So that is the reason we divided the health value by 100, so that we can range from 0 to 1 for the health bar. Now let's get the text, and we also want to change its value according to the health variable. So let's set text. Let's connect the execution pin, and let's connect the health variable to the text parameter of the set text node. Okay, so here it is, and I think now we are good to go, and we have to call this event over I think here. So let's make some space and let's call this event over here, update health bar. There you go, and let's connect the execution pins. I think we don't need to print the value of health as we have the health bar. Let's move these nodes a bit forward, and now let's delete this execution pin after the delay and connect the delay to the branch node. There you go, so that it will check the condition after 0.3 seconds. So let's click on play, and as you can see we have the health bar down there, and the health value is also updating with the health bar, and it's working perfectly fine. So now what we need to do, when our health will become 0, then we will just die by simulating the physics. and then we can create a widget. So here we want a game over widget. So if I'll show you, you can see I already have a game over widget over here. So after that we want to display the game over widget. Now let's promote this to variable. I'm going to name this game over widget, and after that let's add this to viewport. Now after showing the game over widget, we want to respawn our character. So for that let's add a delay of 3 seconds. Okay, so now what we need to do, we want to respawn our character after 3 seconds of delay. So for that let's compile and let's go to our third person character. Here we want to create a custom event. So let's create this, and I'm going to name this respawn. In this event I'm going to add all the functionality we need to respawn our character. So let's add a destroy actor node which will destroy our character, and let's connect the execution pins. After that add the spawn actor node to spawn our character. So let's connect the execution pin, and in the class we need to select the third person character. There you go, and now we need to give it the location, rotation and scale. So for that let's right click and split the structure, and here we just need to give the location. So let's go to the viewport and let's see what location of our current actor is. Here you can see the X, Y and Z axis location of our character, and we can copy the same location over here. So you can spawn your character at any location you want. But here in my case, when I die here, I want to respawn my character over the position where it is currently standing. So that's why I'm using this location over here. So now let's search for the get player controller, and through the player controller I can search for possess node and connect the return value to the pawn parameter. So here whenever our player will spawn, it will be possessed using this player controller. So I think it should work. So now we need to call this event after this delay node. So let's first let's get the third person reference. From here we can search for respawn event. There you go, and let's connect the execution pin, and this event will be called after 3 seconds of delay, and this event will destroy the actor. Then it will spawn our third person character and possess it. So now let's test if this works. So let's get on the platform. Now our health is reducing, and here we dies, and we have this game over UI over here, and after 3 seconds you can see we have successfully respawned, but we still have this game over UI over here. We need to remove it. So to remove it, first we have to create a custom event here. So let's create a custom event. I'm going to name this remove game over widget, and here let's grab the game over widget, and then we can search for remove from parent. This node will remove the widget from the screen. Okay, so after we did that, we need to call this function. So for that let's go to third person blueprint, and after we spawn and possess, we need to search for get actor class. So what will this node will do, we can get access to this custom event over this class. So let's search for damage actor BP. There you go. Now we can access that custom event, which is remove game over widget. There you go. Now we can compile and let's test this if this works. So let's go on to the platform and just wait to die. Here we have game over widget on our screen, and after we respawn we don't have that widget. But here's one problem. As you can see, we have 0 health down there and we don't even die. So why is this happening? Let's fix this. So let's go to our damage actor BP, and on the event begin play you can see we are casting to our character, but the problem is event begin play itself, cause it only fires once. If I'll show you the third person blueprint, we are destroying the actor and we are respawning the actor again. This is the problem. When we respawn our character, we need to cast it again. Since begin play only fires once, we can't cast it again. So for that we need to make a event, a custom event. We are going to name this cast to character, and then let's copy the cast to third person node from the above, and then we can paste it here. Okay, let's paste this and connect the execution pin, and then we need to call this custom event over the event begin play. So let's call this, connect the execution pins, and now if you are thinking why we use this custom event, so we use this to cast to our third person character after removing the game over widget. So let's call this here, and we can call this after this event. So after we remove the game over widget, we can cast to our character again. So I think you got it, and now we can compile and test this. So let's die and respawn. So we have successfully respawned, and now let's go to the platform again, and now we can die again. But there is one problem. As you can see, as we respawn, the health bar is still 0. It should be resetted to 100. So if we'll go to the health bar widget, what is actually happening is when we are reducing the percentage of the health bar, it never resets. It stays 0 even after we respawn the player. Same goes with the text value. So to fix this, let's go to our damage actor BP and let's create a custom event here. I'm going to name this reset health values. Okay, so after that, let's get our health value widget. From here we can search for the health bar. From here we can set the percentage, and the default percentage value is, as you can see, it's 1. So let's type 1 over here. Health bar value will be resetted, and do the same thing with the text as well. Search for the set text node and let's connect the parameters. Here we want to put the 100 value as default. So let's type the 100, and there you go. Now one more thing we need to do, we need to set the value of health variable back to 100. So let's go to our damage BP, and here let's make some space and let's get the reference of third person. Here we can search for set health and let's connect the execution pins, and as we saw, the default value for health is 100. Let's type it, and now we need to call this function after we cast to our character. So let's call this, let's connect the execution pins, and as we will remove the game over widget, we can cast to our character and then reset all the values related to the health variable. So let's see if this works. Let's die and respawn. As you can see, we are dead, and let's see, yeah, you can see our health bar has restored the health successfully, and the text value is also resetted. So now we are done for the automatic respawn system. Now we'll see how to respawn our character only when the user will press a key. So to do this, first you have to go to your project settings, and from here just go to the input and let's add an action mapping. And I'm going to name this respawn button, and you can choose any of the key you want user to press. So I'm going to choose R in this case. And now let's go to the third person blueprint. Here we can call that action mapping. So we just called this action mapping over here in our third person blueprint. So now let's drag this over here, and rather than using this respawn custom event, we can replace this with this action mapping. But before that, let's grab our mesh and let's search for is simulating physics. Now what this node will do is it will check if our player is dead or not, means if it is simulating the physics or not. So let's have a branch, let's connect with the pressed and connect the condition. Now we can connect the execution pin and it will perform all the other tasks of respawning our character. And now let's go to damage actor BP and we can remove this delay and respawn event. So let's delete this. Okay, so on game over widget I have this small text saying press R to respawn, so I can set this to be visible. There you go. Now let's compile and let's play. As you can see, we have died and it will not respawn until I press R key. Let's press the R key, and as you can see, we have successfully respawned. So with this we are also done with the press key functionality of the respawn system. Now let's see how we can respawn the character after we press a button on the screen. As you can see, we already have a button over here. So let's add a on clicked event with this button. And what we want to do with this is we want to call all of these functionalities with that button clicked. So for that, let's delete this, and then we can add an event like this one and then attach, and let's compile this. Now let's go back to our game over widget. So here on clicked event we can call that event. For that, let's first get the actor of class and we want to get our third person. There you go. We did this so that we can call this function. So let's call this. respawn event. There you go. And I think this should work. So let's test this. As you can see, I died, but I'm not able to pull my mouse to click that respawn button. So to fix this, let's go back to the damage actor BP. And here, after we create the game over widget, what we are going to do, we are going to get player controller, and through the player controller we can search for set show mouse cursor, and make sure you check this. And now you have to search for set input mode UI only. Now attach the parameters and execution pins. Now compile it, and let's go to the third person character. Here, after you remove the widget, you can get player controller and you can search for set show mouse cursor and make sure it remains unchecked. And now you can search for set input mode game only. Now let's connect all the execution pins, and I think you are finally good to go. So now let's compile and let's test this. Now as you can see, I can pull out my mouse to click that respawn button, and if I click it, as you can see, we have successfully respawned to our position. And if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I recently started making game dev videos on my second channel for Hindi audience, and all my Discord server and game links are also in the description below, so you can play my game. Till then, see you, bye bye.